Hi, my name is Will Alford, and I'm a licensed U.S. Customs broker. This means that I can conduct customs business on behalf of companies, individuals, or myself. Customs and Border Protection, which is an enforcement agency of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, issues customs broker licenses and regulates their use. In July of 2023, Customs and Border Protection, aka CBP, issued a final ruling stating that licensed customs brokers would be required to obtain 36 credit hours of continuing education every 3 years. Licensed customs brokers must be prepared to provide proof of obtaining these credits within 30 days after submitting their triennial reports. Since this is a new requirement that does not officially go into effect until 2027, it presents a unique opportunity to enter this niche market. My business idea is to provide the required trainings to companies and individuals, either in person or via teleconference. So, this is a unique opportunity for three reasons. One, it's a new requirement, so the market is not flooded with companies offering these services. Two, new requirements mean confusion. It's a prime time to solve people's problems before they become problems. And three, time. Since this does not go into effect officially until 2027, it allows me the time to properly set up the company, get customers, understand needs, and be up and running by the time these changes go into effect. To test the business viability, the first thing I need to do is research how to become accredited by the government, because without this, the rest is pretty meaningless. This is a must have. I must understand how this can happen and how and what I need to do to obtain it. Secondly, I need to research competition, see what's already out there, and see which of these large companies that exist for other types of trainings, what their plans are. Also, I need to identify demand and need, which I think is already there just because these requirements are new and every licensed customs broker is going to have to do them. And then lastly is to identify costs and the barriers to entry. Onward to the business model canvas. My customer segments, as I said before, this is a niche market, and my customers will be licensed customs brokers, companies who have multiple licensed customs brokers on staff, as well as some government outreach to see what is needed out there in terms of the government reaching the different customs brokers. Perhaps there's an angle with that as well. The second thing I want to discuss is the value proposition. So this includes providing the service of continuing education credits in an easy to understand format, also remote or in-person trainings, accredited by the U.S. government, and ahead of the competition. Like I said, this is a good opportunity to get started ahead of time before a lot of other people start getting into it. And then we move on to channels in which I will reach my customers in the following ways. The first will be a business website that I have to get up and running. The second will be search engine optimization. The third will be direct sales, advertising through well-known newsletters and publications. Also, word of mouth. Utilize my existing network, get people I know who are licensed customs brokers on board, and let them tell other people that they know about it. Also, social media. Essentially, try to develop a core set of followers on social media to expand my company's reach. And then lastly, government lists. The government lists accredited companies. So this is not an advertisement or an endorsement per se by the government. Rather, it's just a statement that says these companies provide these services. Either way, endorsement or not, it's a valuable resource, and I need to look into how to get the government to list me as one of these businesses. The next thing will be customer relationships. I will establish and maintain relationships with my customers in the following ways. The first will be personal assistance. I'll provide additional support when requested. Second will be self-service, so offer self-service options for trainings and self-guided education. A self-paced thing. As long as they get it done in time, that's what counts. And this will be good for the research I'm going to be doing throughout this course too, to seeing how people prefer to take trainings. If they want written material, if they want online, if they want their self-service, they want someone teaching them. So that's one part of this project that I'm excited about. And also group trainings is another customer relation I'll have. If the companies want to complete a year's worth of credits in one go, then I'll provide the trainings for a set rate. And then the next thing I want to talk about is revenue streams. The business will generate income through subscription plans. So online training is available throughout each triennial period and scheduled in-person local regular trainings. um, a la carte options for customers who need a specific number of credit hours or specific training, who do not want to sign up for a subscription. Still offer those customers the opportunity to spend money with me. The next thing will be yearly rates, so just an annual subscription, if you will. In-person and conference training, remote training fees, and also advertising. Check. I'm going to look into how I can get advertise for companies that provide related yet different types of services, just to get additional revenue streams in. All right, so then we're going to move on to key resources, which will include intellectual property, such as licensing, brand name, etc. Government licenses, accreditation. That's, as I said earlier, that's a very important feature to my product. The next thing will be IT support. We have to protect customer information, have to have the right record keeping, have the right systems in place to be able to provide any of these services. Um, Possibility in the future having additional employees if the business does catch on, then I don't want to be the only one who's providing this information. So that will be very key. And then also a website. That's one of the first things I'm going to have to do is get a website up and running. So that way, all my offerings will be listed. So that way, people will have an easy way to find out what I'm offering. All right, so then the next thing will be key activities. So the core activities that the business must perform to deliver for customers and operate are maintain government approval, license, accreditation. Again, a must have. Training. Any employees I have and myself must be trained on how to interact with customers and teach the material effectively. So I'm going to have to know the material. I'm going to be able to have to train my employees how to train other people on the material as well. Also, active marketing campaigns, have to keep our name out there, have to keep pushing it and getting business. Also, distribution, publishing, have to make sure that the information that I have is getting distributed in the right channels. And if it needs to be paperback, written paper, then so be it. I have to get the right publishing companies and also just the right tech people involved. And lastly, website and social media maintenance. So all the things I mentioned before have to continue running, have to function properly. And yeah, so I'm not the biggest whiz at website and social media maintenance, so I'll probably have to use an outside company for that. So finding the right costs and all that for that will be very important. Next will be key partnerships. So I've said the U.S. government several times, but that is definitely going to be one of my key partners. I'm going to have to get the accreditation. I'm going to have to stay in the know and get ahead of the competition as much as possible. So I'm trying to get in early with the government so I can keep getting updates from them as we move forward with this. Information technology, information security providers, they're going to be key partners, as I mentioned a second ago. And then lastly will be publishers. If I'll explore this, if I should make written material in addition to the digital versions. And either way, it's important to get this information published and out there to the public and to my key customers. All right, and then I want to talk about cost structure. So the key cost drivers will be government licensing, accreditation, publishing/website costs, uh, intellectual property and legal costs. There's going to be NDAs involved, I'm sure, with people or with some of the services I might end up offering. I should say that's going to be one thing that I'm going to look at in the future if additional services should be offered along with this. But definitely keeping people's information safe and make sure I'm doing things legally. Additional employees, marketing, advertising, the website maintenance and website creation, distribution of the materials, travel. As I've said before, that my plan is to be able to travel to people and give conferences or trainings to groups. So that has to be involved. And then also the building costs, it's just normal overhead costs, like rent, utilities, et cetera, et cetera. Success and failure will be evaluated on: am I able to receive the government accreditation? Are the startup costs reasonable? Can I obtain the capital that's required? And is entry to the market attainable? Also, are there enough customers to make this worth it? I believe there are 16,000 or so licensed customs brokers in the United States, which I think will be enough of a market, but that will be determined. Final thoughts. This is a unique opportunity to enter the market. Success depends on the ability to obtain government accreditation. The customers are there, I just have to reach them. And also, I look forward to testing the viability of this business and seeing if additional services can or should be added to my business plan.